Test review for tomorrow's test. First question says factor g of x is equal to x squared minus 841. Now, the answer choice is going to look like that statement below. That's why I have that there. This is difference of squares. The way you can tell that it is difference of squares is because you have two terms with a minus sign in the middle. Remember, difference means minus. So we take the square root of both, and you get x square root of 841 is 29. Now, when you set up your binomial, well, it should give you x29, x29. Last rule, one is plus, one is minus. So then from there, one part of the statement is where it says 0 equals. So that's where you're going to put your x plus 29, or that's where you're going to find the x plus 29, x minus 29. Now remember, to find the actual zeros, you have to set up your equation and solve. So x plus 29 equals 0. It's a one-step equation. Okay, so you get x equals negative 29. Sorry, I think the pen is acting up because of Zoom. And then you have x minus 29 equals 0. So to solve this one, you add 29. I swear I'm doing a lot of writing. Anyway. So the zeros are negative 29 and positive 29. They can be found when x plus 29 is multiplied by x minus 29. Okay. Number 2, it says factor the quadratic equation and find the values of x of the solution. So your answer choice is going to look the same. First thing you need to notice is that your terms are not all on the same side. So you need to make sure everything is on the same side before you can start to factor. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 49 minus 49 and add 7x. Opposite of subtracting 7 is adding. So minus 49 plus 7x. From there, you get 6x squared plus 7x minus 49 equals 0. So now you can factor. And we factor this by, because there is a number in front of x squared, we're going to kidnap. That changes our equation to x squared plus 7x minus 294. Okay, so now we go to the diamond. Last number falls to the top. Middle number on the bottom. To find your factors, you go to your calculator. Now, that's one where I showed you guys a calculator trick to find all of those factors. Now, just so we can kind of go back over that, you're going to go to y equals, type that equation in, which is, or no, you type in the top number, which is negative 294 divided by x. And in y2, you're going to put x plus y1, which you use alpha trace for that. In the last column, that's where you're going to find the positive 7. Now, I see a negative 7 right here. That's not our answer, so I need to keep going until I find a positive 7. My positive numbers are down here, so I'm going to keep going down. There it is. So the factors are 21 and negative 14. Going back to my other screen. (21) and negative 14. Oops, I hope I'm not covering up the. All right. So x plus 21, x minus 14. Now, because we did kidnap the number 6, we have to come back and divide. If you notice, if you type your fraction into your calculator, you're going to notice that it simplifies. So I'm going to simplify that fraction, use the new fraction, which for this first binomial is going to be 7/2. And then I'll do bottoms up with that. So I'm going to come over here and write it in. It becomes 2x plus 7. Same thing here. Don't forget to simplify your fractions. Don't forget to simplify your fractions. So this fraction right here becomes x minus 7/3. Because it is still a fraction, I'm going to do bottoms up with it. It becomes 3x minus 7. Those are my binomials. But to find the zeros right here, you need to set these equal to 0 and solve. So I'm going to start with the first one, 2x plus 7, and solve. First thing you do, minus 7. And then divide by 2. So the first 0 is negative 7/2. Just be aware, they might ask for it in decimal form. 3x, been a long day. 3x minus 7 equals 0. So you add 7. And the last step would be to divide by 3. Nice. Divide by 3. So the second 0 is positive 7/3. Okay. The next one, simplify the expression square root of 550. Now for that one, that's where you find your factors of 550. We did a one-day lesson on simplifying radicals, so let's do that right here. To find the factors of 550, you're going to go to y equals. You don't need the x plus y1 because we're not factoring. We're just simplifying the expression. So I'm going to replace that with 550. And I need to start from 0. Any number, any whole number are the ones you want to pick. You don't want to pick the decimals. So 1 times 550, 2 times 275, 5 times 110, 10 times 55, all of those numbers. So let's go back. The factors of 550 are 1 times 550. Good. Okay. 2 times 275. 5 times 110. 10 times 55. We also have 11 times 50 and 22 times 25. Okay, from there you want to look for your perfect squares. Any number you can take the square root of, and it gives you a whole number. For those, there's actually only 2, 1 and 25. So we're going to use the largest perfect square, which is the 25. But you want to rewrite it to where this 25 is in the front. So that means we're going to split that square root of 550 into the square root of 25 times the square root of 22. The square root of 25 is 5. You cannot take the square root of 22 without getting a decimal. So 5 square root of 22 is its simplest form. With problems like this, since you are watching this video, with problems like this, I'm going to show you a trick. You can also double check your answer. You can go to your calculator. Let's go back real quick. This and type in the square root of 550. See what the square root of 550 is in its decimal form. So I'm going to do that. Square root of 550. That gave me 23.4. Now, when we simplified it, we got 5 square root of 22. And notice you got the same decimal form for both. So you can always double check your answers, or you can check your answer choices that way. You're welcome. Next one. Factor the quadratic equation f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 10x minus 25. Now, technically, there isn't a number there. There it is a negative 1. What you want to do with this one, and you are going to probably want to watch it a couple of times, replay it. You're going to want to factor out the negative 1. Think back to greatest common factor. Factor it out. What I mean is either unmultiply, divide that negative 1. We're going to take it out. So negative 1 times negative 1 times negative, or x squared is negative x squared. If I take out the negative 1, that becomes a negative 10x, and the 25 ends up being positive 25. And the reason for that is because you won't be able to find the factors if you convert that to. So from there, I'm going to take this part of it and factor that. We're going to go straight to the diamond. So I'm going to put 25, negative 10. Okay. So for that, it'll be, the factors are negative 5 times negative 5. That's positive 25, negative 5 plus negative 5, negative 10. And that gives me x minus 5 times x minus 5. Bring down that negative 1. So that means the function, the zeros can be determined when 0 is equal to negative. Because this does repeat, it'll be written in the answer choice, or it's a drop-down menu, x minus 5 squared. Okay? You're multiplying the same thing twice. Now, to figure out how many zeros, you need to solve. Now, notice you're actually solving the same exact equation. X minus 5 equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0. So you're going to end up with the same answer. Oops. I meant to write plus 500. So plus 5 plus 5. X equals 5. Plus 5 plus 5. That means you have the same exact 0. So you only have 1 0. For this function, you're only going to have 1 0, only 5. Now, another way that you can tell that you only have 1 0, aka only one x-intercept, notice you have an equation that you can work with as well. Once again, calculator. You have an equation, it is solve for y, so I'm going to go here to my calculator and type it in. Negative x squared plus 10x minus 25. Oops, forgot my x. Okay, I hit graph. This parabola only touches the graph once at the positive 5. That's another way that you can tell there's only 1 0, only the 5. Number 5, moving on. I already showed you again how to find the factors of 360. So for this one, I'm just going to write the factors out. Okay, so 360. The factors of 360 are, there's a bunch of them. Get ready. 1 times 360. Why is it doing that? Let's stop. Oh, man. Okay. 2 times 180. 3 times 120. 4 times 90. 5 times 72. 6 times 60. 8 times 45. 9 times 40. 10 times 36. 12 times 30. 15 times 24. And 18 times 20. All right. Now, because you won't be able to use your list of perfect squares, the only way to know, there's some that you should hopefully be obvious, but If you want to double check to make sure it is or it is not a perfect square, take the square root of the number. If it gives you a whole number, it is a perfect square. So in this list, the ones that are perfect squares are 1, 4, and 36. Those are the only ones. So always pick the biggest one. I'm going to rewrite it for the 36 to be in the front. So square root of 36 times the square root of 10. Square root of 36 gives me 6. If I take the square root of 10, it'll give me a decimal, so I just simply bring it down. 6 square root of 10 is a simplified version of the square root of 360. Once again, you can type in 360 into your calculator. Let's try that. Here we go. Clear that out. Let me see. Second square root of 360. And then 6 square root of 10, my bad. 6 second square root 10. And they both give me the same exact decimal. So I have found my answer. Moving on. Number 6, what are the solutions to the equation x minus 6 times x plus 8? Notice it's already halfway done. You already have your binomials, so you don't have to do kidnap, anything like that, kidnap or diamond. You just set it equal to 0 and solve. So I solve it by adding 6. X equals 6. And subtracting 8. So x equals -8. Find your answer choice that has a 6 and a -8. Sometimes your questions will ask you for the positive or the negative answer. So this would be the positive solution. This would be the negative solution. Next one. This is one that I honestly did not teach you, but there is a calculated trick for it. Just like I told you with the other problem, you want to type it into your calculator. So let's see. Here we go. So we're going to do second square root. Because inside the square root you have a fraction, I'm going to do alpha x inside my fraction. So 16, and I go down, put my 3. There's my first decimal. Now answer choice A is 4 square root of 3 over 3 over the square root of 3. And that gives me 4. Those two do not match, so that is not my answer. Answer choice B is another fraction, but this time it is 4 square root of 3 over 3. And notice how the decimal does match. In C, your answer is 4 over 3. Oops, not 33. I can change it to a decimal. Does not match. We're looking for one that gives us 2.3. And the last answer choice is square root of 4 over the square root of 3, which gives me 1.15. So your answer would be B. The decimals match with B. So really not 100% necessary for you to learn how to do it the other way. 2.3. This one gave us, let me go back up on my calculator. This one gave us 4. This one gave us 2.3, 1.3, and 1.15. Number 8, the height of a falling pine cone can be represented by this equation where t is the time and y is the height. Write and solve an equation to find the number of seconds it will take for the pine cone to reach the ground. Now, this is one where you're going to use this equation and you're going to plug in a number. On the test, they might actually give you the actual number that you're going to plug in, but for this one, we have to use our context clues. Okay. It says that it wants to know the number of seconds it's going to take for it to reach the ground. Think about the ground. The ground is where the height is equal to 0, right? Now the height is a y value. The height is your y value. So what they want us to do is put 0 here and solve for t. Now, just like if you were solving any equation, even without the squared, you always start with the constant. So I'm going to subtract 64. Bring down negative 16t squared, negative 64. From there, these two are multiplied, so you divide by negative 16. You get t squared. Negative 64 divided by negative 16 is 4. And the only way to undo a square number is to take the square root of it. So we're going to take the square root of both, and you end up with 2. T equals 2, so meaning 2 seconds. Okay, almost done. Number 9. Number 9. Table shows a quadratic function. Anytime you have a table, automatically you want to put your points into stat edit. Now this is quadratic, so don't forget you use option 5 for quad. Quad. Hopefully I already have my points in. Let me see. I'm praying. They are cool. That way I don't have to type all that in. So, here we go. Go to stat edit. Second quick. Stat edit's the first option. Put your points in. Then you go to stat calculate, number 5. Don't forget in this screen, you want to go to store, press alpha, trace. The reason you always want to press alpha trace is because if I go to y equals, my equation will be there for me. Okay. Now I'm going to hit graph. It says in the question, 2.1 is one of the solutions. What is the value of the other solution? Well, if you look at the calculator, you can tell that 2.1 is this 0 right here. It's that x-intercept. So what it's wanting us to find is the other x-intercept, the negative solution. And I do that by pressing second trace. I use option number 2 for the zeros or the x-intercept. So I press 2. Remember, your star always starts on the y-intercept. So you know that the y-intercept of this is 30, 0, 30. So I'm going to actually go to the left side because I'm on the y-axis right now. I'm going to go left until I find my little star, until it pops up. There we go. Now it wants us to go to the left side of the x-intercept. So I'm going to go press the left button, go back to my x-intercept, and then press the right button. So now I'm on both sides, and it says the 0 is 7.1. That's my x-intercept. So I'm going to go back. And it says round your answer to, I got 7.1009. Okay. It says round to the nearest 10th. Think about this. If you're bad about place value, the number 10 has 1 0. So that means you only need one number after the decimal. So it would be 7.1 positive. Last one. Determine the roots of x squared minus 2x minus 24. For this, going straight to diamond. So if I go straight to my diamond, I get negative 24, negative 2. Oops. And that my roots are negative 6, positive 4. Put that into my binomial. And then solve. X minus 6 equals 0, which ends up being, solve it, x, sorry, I'm trying to rush now, x equals 6. Then you do x plus 4 equals 0, subtract the 4, and you get x equals negative 4. Now notice that doesn't add up with any of these answers. So what you want to do with your answer choices is type them in. Now, anybody that knows what the square root of 25 is, it's 5. So 1 plus 5, or type the whole thing. Let me just show you one time. I'm going to press second quit. 1 plus second square root of 25. That's what I mean by typing it into your calculator. I get 6. Okay. So if I type the first one, 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 minus 5, -4. 0 doesn't match with either one of these answers. -1 plus 5 is -4. -1 minus 25 is -6. Sorry, +4, -6. So you want to make sure that they match exactly. They're going to put in 2 answers to throw you off. The answers are actually A and B. It said select 2. Almost done. What is a positive solution to this equation? Now, when I worked it out, it actually didn't work. So here we go. We're going to do it for this equation. We're going to do it for 5x squared minus 4x minus 9. Kidnap. So you get x squared minus 4x minus 45. You want to put your -45 and your -4 in your diamond. Okay. Then from there, it gives us 5, -9. So you put that in your binomial, x plus 5, x minus 9. After that, you want to divide. You kidnapped the 5, so you want to divide. That gives you x plus 1. Here, you're going to do bottoms up. That is 5x minus 9. Last step is to solve, because most of you will get eager and say, oh, well, the positive solution is that 1. It is not, because if you actually solve it, that x plus 1 is going to change to a -1. My tablet is doing it again. You subtract 1 on both sides, -1 on both sides. So you get x equals -1. Here, two-step equation. 5x minus 9 equals 0. So you add 9. You get 5x equals 9 divided by 5. And 9 divided by 5 in decimal form gives you 1.8. So this is the positive solution. This is my negative solution. That's the one that you want to put into your type in, 1.8. Okay. Now, the good thing about algebra is they won't already have the decimal there for you, so you can actually put it anywhere. Solution set. Solution set. When you're talking about a solution set, you will find your answer in brackets. Remember, brackets does not mean that it's an ordered pair. But this is difference of squares because you have 2 terms with a minus sign in the middle. X square root of 100 is 10. So in your binomial, you get x plus 10 and you get x minus 10. Remember, 1 is plus, 1 is minus. Your answers end up being, once you solve, x plus 10 equals 0. Once you solve, you get x is equal to -10. If you solve x minus 10 equals 0, you get x equals +10. So in your brackets, in your answer choice, you're going to see -10, 10, or vice versa. It can be 10, -10. Okay. If you have any questions, send me a message on Remind, and good luck tomorrow.